Hello and welcome to the daily cricket show, Cricket Happenings, dear friends, subscribers. And on today's cricket show, while I'm talking to you, I can tell you that a match is underway right now. Just giving you a live cricket update here from the Sydney Cricket Ground, where the final Test match of the Ashes is going on. I can tell you that right now, as I am talking to you, England have won the toss and elected to bat and on the Sydney pitch. Unfortunately, there was the first session was totally lost due to rain, and England actually Joe Root actually winning the toss and electing to bat first here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. And I have to say that we saw two changes today. One is Mason Crane making his test debut, which was pretty good to see. I'm just trying to see, England have won the toss. As I said, if you look at the team here, looking at the team, they have, Chris Wokes actually went out due to injury, and so that it became very easy for selection, as England actually roped in Mason Crane to make his test debut here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. 20-year-old Mason Crane has the knowledge of Australian conditions, one could say, because he has played for New South Wales, as you would remember. And also Australia, after suffering a reverse in the fourth Test match, decided to bring back Mitchell Starc, their key bowler, into the mix in place of Jason Bird. So as I'm talking to you, we are in session. We are in day one, session 2, and the score reads 2 without loss for England. So I'll keep an eye on that. But in the meanwhile, let me talk about, and also the things that I'm going to do on this particular cricket show today is I'm going to talk about the news. As you know, West Indies returned to the West Indies winless on the tour of New Zealand. And this was something which happened way back in 1999. So after that, it has never happened. So this was a drought for West Indies. West Indies losing the final T20 by 119 runs. But it was not about losing, but look at the way they lost. New Zealand registered their highest ever win in a T20 match by winning by 119 runs. But most of it, the man who made it possible was that, according to me, as I said, that after the exit of Brendan McCullum from the New Zealand cricket team, Colin Munro has definitely taken his place as he slammed the third T20 century. Colin Munro is not, I would say he's fairly new right now, but Colin Munro right now has become the first person to have scored 3 centuries, 3 T20 centuries, and that is quite an achievement. Even Brendan McCullum had 2. Evan Lewis is definitely running close, but he's right now at 2 centuries, and I won't be surprised if Evan Lewis in the future gets there. But Colin Munro has really created a new record here by going and hitting a century. What a knock it was. He bludgeoned 104 of 53 deliveries, 3 fours, and look at the sixes that he hit. 10 sixes. That was tremendous stuff. So, and that enabled New Zealand to go and post their highest ever score in T20 cricket of 243 for 5, and the West Indians once again really put a very, very sorry display. And they were absolutely not a challenge at all for New Zealand, as the New Zealand bowlers wiped them out for 124, and thus West Indies remaining winless on the tour here. And just talking about Colin Munro, as I said, he's become the first batsman to hit 320 centuries. So if you look at the T20 centuries, Colin Munro has got only 35 innings under his belt, 300s. But look at that man, Evan Lewis of West Indies, 200s in 14 innings. So as I said, he's not far. I won't be surprised if Evan Lewis goes on, goes on to make his third T20 century and join Colin Munro up there in the ranks, probably, anytime soon. Chris Gale has 200s in 50 innings. Rohit Sharma of India, 2 centuries in 64 innings. And Brendan McCullum, 2 centuries in 70 innings. And look at Colin Munro, 3 centuries in half of what Brendan McCullum played, 35 innings. And that is truly, truly a great achievement. 10 sixes is also a joint record now that he's holding with another big hitter, Corey Anderson, who did it against Bangladesh. And this century came off only 47 balls, and this was the fastest T20 century by a New Zealand batsman in T20s. Century of 47 balls. He broke the record, I think, of Corey Anderson. And let me tell you, Colin Munro is really turning out to be a very, very dangerous player indeed. He kept on bettering it. If you look at his 3 centuries, he got a century of 54 balls against India. He got a century of 52 balls against Bangladesh. And now he slams a century of 47 balls. So that really says a lot about Colin Munro as a player. And I'm sure this is something which is really going to be something which is really going to help Colin Munro to have, to show that New Zealand definitely have a player of great caliber here, and the name is Colin Munro. So well done, Colin Munro. So just going away from here, just wanting to talk about the match. As I said, it was all about Colin Munro smashing the ball to all parts of the ground. No ball was spared. Jerome Taylor, Badri, Nurse. Look at the bowling figures. Jerome Taylor, 4 overs, 1 for 53. Badri, 4 overs, none for 51. Ashley Nurse, 4 overs, cost him 43. Brathwaite bowled 4 overs, carted for 50 runs with 2 wickets. And Ryan Emmerich was making his debut, did not have, had a very, very torrid start as a player, I would say, on a T20 debut, when Munro actually smashed his first 2 balls for 6s. And that is not something that any debutant would be looking out for. And New Zealand, as I said, ran in their highest ever score in T20s of 243 for 5. Definitely the linchpin was Colin Munro, 104 of 53 deliveries, 3 fours and 10 glorious 6s. Martin, and the opening partnership was also something which was in a real punitive mood. Martin Guptill, on the other hand, was also doing a fine job, as he made 63 of 38 balls, 5 fours and 2 6s, probably celebrating his return to the New Zealand squad for the ODIs against Pakistan, and really justifying what the New Zealand selectors did. Even though he was a bit out of form, I thought he got selected for the first 2 ODIs against Pakistan, and now he definitely made it count here. Bruce made 23 of 14, 2 fours, 1 6. Andrew Kitchen was run out for 9 of 3 balls. Kane Williamson made 19, also hit one very good 6 over long on. 19 of 8 deliveries, 2 fours and 1 6. So it was a real cameo coming in from the captain, Kane Williamson. Phillips was not on 7 of 4 balls with 1 6. Zander was not on 6, which was the solitary 6 that he hit, which took the New Zealanders to 243 for 5, and that was a huge target for the helpless West Indies. West Indies start. Look at the start that they had. Tim Southee actually sent both the openers back. First he sent Chadwick Walton to the pavilion by getting him caught by Munro for naught, and with the 5th delivery of the very first over, the master blaster Chris Gale was served a bouncer, and Chris Gale was forced to actually fend at it, and in the process it was Glenn Phillips who held the catch, and it was very well balled by Southee. He landed it on the right length, and Gale was really put on tenterhooks on that particular delivery, and the West Indies tail started off with 2 wickets gone for nothing. And after that, Andrew Fletcher definitely showed glimpses of some attacking batting with 46 of 32 balls, 4 fours and 3 sixes, which was also the highest score. And other than that, because of the tall score that New Zealand had posted, it was all about throwing the bat. And Roman Powell hit 4 fours in his knock of 16 of 8 balls, fell a victim to Kitchen getting his maiden wicket in T20s, Andrew Kitchen. Solomon Hatmir made 7 with 1-6. Brathwaite made 15 of 14, 1-4-1-6. Nurse was not on 14 of 25. Ryan Emmerich on his debut was out for 5. Taylor 13 and Badley 2. And 124 all out. A huge win for New Zealand. As I said, they registered their highest ever win in T20 cricket. In the meanwhile, I can tell you the live update coming in from the Sydney Cricket Ground. England are chugging along at 5 for no loss right now. Alistair Cook and Mark Stoneman in the middle. So looking at the bowling here for the Kiwis, Tim Southey, 2.3 overs, no more than 21 runs and 3 wickets, who actually hurt them first up by getting both these openers into the pavilion. Trent bowled 4 overs, 229. Trent bowled, normally the nemesis for the West Indies on this tour, did a fine job. He was initially carted, probably West Indies targeted him, but he came back strongly in the final bend. Andrew Kitchen 4 overs, 1 for 33. Santner 2 overs for 16. East Sodhi bowled 4 overs, 9 for 2 for 25. So New Zealand not only winning the 3-match series 2-0, but forcing West Indies to return home without a single win on the tour. And that is not something that West Indies would have ever expected. And the player of the match going to none other than Colin Munro, and the player of the series also going to Colin Munro. So Colin Munro has really made himself noticed now. While I'm talking to you, let's look at the live cricket update. As I'm talking to you right now, the England, after winning the toss and electing to bat here at the Sydney Cricket Ground against Australia in the final test match of the Ashes series, England are 6 for no loss. Alistair Cook is not out on 2, Stoneman is 3. I'll come back to that later as and when anything happens. So let's have a look at the Aussie squad that was selected for the ODIs against England. And when you look at the squad there, one would probably feel, probably Glenn Maxwell might feel hard done by, seeing that his name is not figuring. But the reason that was trotted out by the Aussie selectors was that it was all because of his poor form, and Glenn Maxwell definitely needs to do much well. And also the Australian captain Stephen Smith, I'm sorry about it, there is a sound here which is coming, and I do apologize for this.
Being less apprehensive with the body, but
I really apologize for this sound that came. It just happened, and I'm sorry about it. So just talking about the Australian squad, Steve Smith is the captain, David Warner, Pat Cummins, they're all selecting themselves. Also Aaron Finch is another one, Josh Hazelwood. They have decided to go with the all those players who did very well in the Ashes series. The pace attack will consist of Josh Hazelwood, Mitchell Starc, Mitchell Marsh. So that's something. And then Travis Head, Chris Lynn. Now Chris Lynn, as you know, is a sort of a T20 specialist, and he has been included in the mix as well. So Chris Lynn comes there. So I think Glenn Maxwell's place has gone to Chris Lynn. Wicketkeeper, they have decided to go for Tim Payne, considering the form that he's currently into compared to Matthew Wade. Jai Richardson, I'm told that he bowls with a lot of pace. He can also be a good lower order hitter, has lots of variations in his bowling, especially he delivers the ball at some very good pace, and that's the precise reason Jai Richardson, who has been doing well, has been included in the one-day international series against England. And as I said, Jai Richardson, he has been someone who has been very, very impressive. Not only Jai Richardson, it's not only about the high pace, as they already have high pace with Mitchell Stark, Hazelwood, and Cummins, and if Jai Richardson also comes into the mix, that will make for an awesome combination, according to me. And Andrew Tye, who has this habit of taking a lot of hat-tricks, as you know, he did it in this the current Big Bash League also season. He's also figuring the team, Andrew Tye. And then Marcus Stoinis, who did a sort of a real Houdini act in one particular game when the chips were totally down for the Aussies against New Zealand. And Adam Zampa as the specialist right arm leg spinner. So all in all, it's a team which is threatened, but the only glaring omission, if one could really say, is Glenn Maxwell. But also the reason that has been given is it all because of his poor form. So Glenn Maxwell definitely needs to go and train and get himself fit. As you know, he has to really work hard, because I'm sure every team in this year is looking at a lot of talent, and Glenn Maxwell has to really pull up his socks, because if at all any other young talent in Australia is flowering right now, then Glenn Maxwell could be in trouble. Probably might even not get a spot in the 2019 World Cup. So Glenn Maxwell better be serious and start getting going right away, so that he could figure in the Australian scheme of things in World Cup 2019 in England. Well, and as I'm just going to wind up this daily cricket show of mine, I am just going to give a live cricket update before I leave the scene by saying that the score for England, as I'm talking to you, currently says 11 for no loss. Cook is not out on 3, and Stoneman has 1 boundary in a knock of 7. So, well, dear fans and subscribers, that really sums up this daily cricket show of mine today. Hope you all enjoyed it, and with more to come tomorrow on the daily cricket show, where I'll be talking about the first day's play in the 5th and final Ashes Test, and also certain other cricket news. Till such time that happens, it's good night from Host Ram Studios. Thank you.